My cousin Diego came in from Mexico City for a week, said he needed peace and fresh air. I live in a quiet HOA neighborhood in New Haven, Connecticut, gated, sidewalks, mailboxes that match. The whole Stepford thing. Diego? He's the calmest guy I know, doesn't drink, doesn't raise his voice, wakes up early, drinks black coffee, and jogs every single morning. He packed exactly 4 things: 2 running outfits, protein powder, and a rosary. That's Diego. Monday morning, 6:30 a.m., he heads out in a gray hoodie, earbuds in, and jogs toward the community park. I was still in bed. At 6:44, my phone buzzes with a weird text. Your neighborhood guards are following me. Should I be concerned? At the time, I didn't even know our HOA had guards. Apparently, Richard Hayes, yes, that Richard, voted to replace the neighborhood watch with private enforcement. 2 ex-cops named Todd and Kenny, matching blue windbreakers, radios clipped to their hips, and the kind of sunglasses that scream, I have something to prove. They spotted Diego near the tennis courts and immediately assumed something. 2 white dudes with clipboards chasing a tan guy in a hoodie? Let's just say it wasn't subtle. Todd radios in. We've got a possible 419 suspicious male, no visible ID, looks agitated. Agitated? The man was listening to Bon Jovi and doing knee raises. Kenny steps in front of Diego like he's guarding the queen. Sir, stop right there. We've had reports of suspicious activity. Diego blinks. I'm jogging. Where's your ID? I don't jog with ID, amigo. Wrong word. Kenny stiffens. You live here? Diego shrugs. My cousin does. Todd narrows his eyes. And what's his name? Diego pauses dramatically. Chad? I nearly spit my coffee reading the transcript later. They keep pressing. Diego tries to sidestep, but Kenny blocks him again. You match the description of someone that stole from a store yesterday. Diego finally smiles. Do I also match the description of someone who's about to embarrass you in front of your friend? That's when Kenny reaches for Diego's arm to stop him from leaving. That's also when the universe made its first mistake. Diego felt Kenny tug on his arm and knew it was time. Kenny tried to pull him back, but Diego moved like water. He stepped under Kenny's grab, grabbed Kenny's wrist, and bent it so hard Kenny screamed and fell onto the pavement, clutching his wrist. Todd saw this and backed up, swinging his clipboard. Diego caught the metal clip, twisted it loose, and dropped it on the ground. Now he was hands-free. Carl? The third guard rushed in like he was in a video game. Diego dropped into a low stance and kicked Carl in the knee. Carl's eyes went wide. He cried out and hit the ground hard on his backside. Todd tried to run, but Diego wasn't done. He circled around Todd, kept his distance, then spun and planted a back heel into Todd's ribs. Todd doubled over, gasping. In less than 10 seconds, all 3 guards lay on the court. Kenny holding a screaming wrist, Carl rubbing a smashed knee, Todd pressing his side and wheezing. Diego wiped sweat from his forehead. You guys okay? He asked, voice calm. Carl shook his head. I can't move my leg. Kenny whimpered. My arm hurts. Todd croaked. Call someone, please. Diego shrugged, hoisted his hoodie back on, and jogged away. Earbuds back in, music playing. He paused 20 feet down the path, looked over his shoulder, and called back. Next time, just let me jog. Then he was gone. A few neighbors came out staring in shock. Mrs. Tell dropped her watering can. The 3 guards didn't move. Eventually, Kenny managed to crawl to his radio and called for help. That's when I got another text. They broke me. Are they going to be okay? And that's when I realized this was no joke. The HOA had really messed with the wrong guy. Within hours, my phone blew up with notifications. Someone had posted a shaky video of Diego's mini massacre on a local neighborhood group. By lunchtime, it was all over social media under HOA Cops Fail and MMA Jogger. At 1:15 p.m., I heard sirens. A pair of marked New Haven police cruisers rolled through the gate. Officer Ramirez, who'd shown up that morning, pulled up at the tennis courts alongside a sergeant I'd never seen. The 3 HOA guards lay on stretchers, moaning. Ramirez jogged over and found Todd clutching his side. Sir, can you describe what happened? Todd gasped. He kicked me, like a monster. Ramirez frowned and looked at his partner. Collect their IDs and detain them for impersonating law enforcement and assault. Meanwhile, Carl and Kenny were already seated in the back of the cruiser, heads hidden behind their arms. Diego jogged out of the park, hoodie back on, earbuds in, still calm. He slowed when he saw the police. Ramirez nodded. Diego, or should I say, Senor Martinez? Diego flashed a grin. Just Diego. The sergeant raised an eyebrow. Your fight record's online. You were a pro MMA fighter, retired lightweight champ, 17 wins, 1 loss. Diego shrugged. That was a long time ago. Across the court, Vanessa Hayes, HOA president and trophy wife, arrived in her Lexus, high heels clicking. She tried to weave through the scene, but Ramirez stopped her. "Ma'am, you need to leave," Vanessa sputtered. "My guards, my security team." Ramirez held up a hand. "They're suspected of assaulting a jogger and impersonating officers. I suggest you call your lawyer." Within an hour, reports hit the local newspaper and every neighborhood blog. The HOA's private enforcement was revealed as a bunch of poorly trained wannabes. The HOA board held an emergency meeting. Everyone but Richard and Vanessa showed up. They resigned en masse under pressure. By evening, Diego's video had 2 million views. MMA fans celebrated his smooth moves. A few even donated to Kenny's medical bills, enough to cover physical therapy. That night, a FedEx envelope arrived at my door. Inside was a single autographed MMA glove from Diego, scrawled, "Next time you see a jogger, check his resume." I pinned it on my office wall. The next morning, the tennis courts were empty. New official community patrol signs went up, this time run by the real police department. And every time I passed that spot, I saw Mrs. Patel smiling and giving me a thumbs up. Diego? He came back the following morning, just for a light jog, no guards in sight. And that's how peace and fresh air returned to our little Stepford Street.